The following is a presentation of TFNN. Trade what you see with Larry Pesavento. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648 or internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, Larry Pesavento.
Okay, looking good, Billy Ray. Feeling good, Lewis. Welcome from Copenhagen, Denmark. Certainly one of the most expensive places in the world. I just left Kiev on Sunday after being there for 3 days, where things were about 1/5 the price that they are here. But here is very, very expensive. I have a couple interesting stories to tell you about Kiev. I got into a Uber driver to take me to the hotel. And as we left the airport, I knew I was in big trouble. He was driving a BMW, and of course, he's on the steering wheel's on the wrong side of the car, which was one thing. But believe it or not, folks, this guy was driving 75 to 80 miles an hour. That's about 140 kilometers per hour. And he was texting, and he was on his Apple phone all at the same time, driving. And it's a stick shift, of course, and he's going in and out of traffic. And finally, I told him, I said, you please don't, text. And he couldn't understand it. So I just took the phone out of his hand and also this little texting thing. So it was, then he laughed, and then he got me there on time. But he drove, unbelievable. It was 20 minutes going in and 35 minutes coming out in the same kind of traffic. That's how fast he was driving. But the most important thing about the whole conference was, right before I started speaking, I had two people come up who listened to TFNN regularly. And I thought that was pretty cool. There were about 300 people in the audience, but, and this, believe me, I had to have an interpreter because virtually nobody spoke English. It was maybe 10% of the group was English, and that was the very young people that were there. But there were a lot of people that listen to TFNN, so you guys should be really happy to know that. As far as the magic show with my little 5-year-old grandson on Thursday, it went great. And I had my toughest audience, 22 5-year-olds, but it turned out to be pretty good. We got a really interesting situation today, folks, in the gold and silver. If you'll take a look at this silver chart that I posted into the room this morning. This is really interesting because we have one of our favorite numbers. By the way, the folks in Kiev, they're about in the 1890s when it comes to technical analysis. The people that were on ahead of me, they basically talked about the 50-day and the 100-day moving average. That was about as sophisticated as it got. There was one gentleman that talked a little bit about stochastics. And but that was about it. When I mentioned the F word, Fibonacci, there was maybe two people in the whole audience that even knew, what Fibonacci was. And in fact, even the speaker myself doesn't even know what it is half the time. But anyway, it was interesting where they are in the world. But there are a lot of people interested in Forex there. They trade it quite a bit. So it's very interesting to see that part of the world. It's a great place to visit. It reminds me very much of Tennessee, the big river there, of course, and then the hills and everything was really, really cool around the Nashville area. It was really, or Memphis, it was really a nice area. However, let's get back to the market. Let's take a look at this silver chart, folks. At $16 an ounce, we got a 20-man line coming in there. We've got a 50% retracement off of the low from 2015 in December when we made those lows. We're making a very similar correction that we had, back in April, and we have a 61% retracement off of the low that we made in March. So this is a real interesting spot here. This equates to about 1241 or so in the gold. I think we're trading at 1246 right now, so we're very, very close, to that number to being hit. What's interesting, and that is the thing that is got me the most perplexed is when I was doing the newsletter this week. I looked at all of these charts and I saw the low that we were expecting to come in on the S&P, which I'll put this up. That came in pretty much spot on. We'll start out with the Dow Jones because that's when I was really looking at. We were looking at the 17,300 level, and it got to 17,299. And then we've had this rally, which equals the same rally that we had between the 13th and the 17th. But it hasn't really taken off. And there's a lot of things that should make this stock market go higher, from a cycle standpoint. We had the full moon, we had Mercury going direct. All of these things should make the market go a great deal higher. And in fact, none of the markets across the world are reacting very much to it. So we know that if we break below those lows that we just made here on Thursday and Friday, that's going to be a very negative effect if that's the case. Mr. Bill asked us if I saw Chernobyl. No, I didn't particularly want to see it. However, my luggage is lighting up a little bit more than it was. Actually, Chernobyl is 90 kilometers or 60 miles from where we are, but they tell us that the prevailing winds at the time, blew the stuff back into Russia. But frankly, I don't know. I don't know anything about that kind of stuff, so I sort of stay away from it. I did tell the story about the the DNA, and I used the Russian KGB as the example, and that got a pretty good laugh. But other than that, it was basically my interpreter, doing it. So that's it. I think that was 30 years ago was Chernobyl. I'm not sure, what was going on. But it's a lot of culture in the city of historical stuff. If you like those old buildings and things like that. I mean, it's so cheap there. You just can't believe how inexpensive it is. It was just absolutely unbelievable. A taxi ride was $2. I mean, it was really cheap. And then you come over here into Denmark, into Copenhagen, and Billy the Kid and Jesse James would have a difficult time over here. But it's really had a little plate of pasta last night. It was $70 US, and that was a little out of my. I was shocked. Of course, luckily I was a guest, but it was very, very expensive. Okay, let's take a look here at some of these markets. You're not here to hear me talk very much, but what's really funny, folks, is the question and answer. Well, they kept me there quite a while for question and answer, but the question and answer stuff was not about the markets or my methodology with pattern recognition or Fibonacci. They basically wanted to know what it was like being a trader, and they wanted to know what it was like. The two people that were listening to TFNN actually had questions about the show, and they asked me, of course, if I would ever be as good as Basil Chapman and Steve Rhodes, and I said those are my goals, and I said, of course, I could not attempt to even be as good as John Logan, but I'm still working towards those things. But they were really interested in what was happening as far as how I did everything and when I got up in the morning and how long I could. 877-927-6648.
TFNN is excited to offer a brand new piece of market scanning software unlike anything the industry has ever seen. John Logan and his team have spent years developing their market profile tools to finally be able to release the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. And right now you can get a 2-week trial absolutely free just by visiting TFNN.com and providing us your name and email address. The TAS Profile Scanner Plus is the premier market profile based scanner in the industry. Powered by the acclaimed TAS proprietary algorithms, this feature-rich scanner is a standalone desktop software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Within 3 minutes of signing up, you can have the software downloaded and running on your computer with a complete roadmap of market indicators and inflection points to trade off using the TAS Profile Scanner Plus. Sign up today and try this amazing piece of software by visiting TFNN.com.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find the Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Tiger TV is an exciting way to experience TFNN programming. See high-definition video, giving you crystal clear charts, as well as seeing some of the faces of TFNN's highly acclaimed financial experts with crisp, full-fidelity sound. Catch Tom O'Brien, John Logan, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, Larry Pesavento, Think or Swim, David White, Andy Hecht, and Daryl Martin in crystal clear, high-definition audio and video. Tiger TV, exclusively at TFNN.com. Larry takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
Okay, we're back, folks, and we're going to switch over to the crude oil market. We were talking about this on Friday. As I recall, was I here on Friday? I don't remember. No, Friday I was not here. I was traveling then. So it was on Thursday that I did it. Yeah, the 19th. That was Avery's birthday. Anyway, the crude oil looks like it's made that 61% retracement. You can see that we hit it 2 days in a row. We did not get above, $49 a barrel. We got to $48.95, which was the fib point that we're watching. And the second thing is, I will cover the Nikkei in just a second, Mr. Bill, because I'm still on Arizona time, so my body clock is always screwed up, but now it's going backwards. So anyway, you can see we made that 61% retracement in the crude oil. I wanted to show you also the gasoline futures, because this is the one that really looks the most interesting, because on a short-term basis, of course I have the time to do Nikkei. I'd be happy to do it. But you'll notice that we've had a perfect three-drive pattern over the past 6 weeks in the gasoline futures. Time up is perfect on both of those, and we're down a little bit again today after hitting the perfect ABCD on last Thursday. So that's what it looks like on the crude oil, also on the heating oil. And lastly, we need to take a quick look, of course, at the heating oil also, because that's the third part of the complex, and all I have to do now is to find the third part of the complex, and then I'll be in good shape. And right now, I am not. Larry found it. There you go. See, I still got a few stretches of gray matter. Hold on here. We'll put this up here, and you can see it also completed a three-drive pattern, it went a tad above the 786. Level, but it's also selling off a little bit today. So as long as crude doesn't get above that $49 a barrel, it certainly looks like we're ready to to head to the downside. Now this is one of the interesting charts, is the Nikkei. I'm glad you asked to see that, Mr. Bill, because it is a very interesting chart as far as support and resistance coming in here. As you can see, we've been in this really tight. We made the ABCD pattern up there back on the 28th of April. That's when we had Mercury, going retrograde, and then we came down and Mercury went direct here again on the 19th. But we've been going sideways for about a week now in the Japanese market. But remember, this is a very, very long trending down move, folks. So this is a very, very, very bearish pattern. So that's the key. But all of these things stopped right at Mr. Z. I really there's a John. Take a look at the gold at 1241, 1242. You've got you're going to take out that old bottom at that right around that 1245 level, and yeah, that's where you want to look at. And watch the silver, John. I know you're a really good silver trader. And I put that silver in there today just for you because it's got a lot of stuff at 1610. Unfortunately, I can't see prices while I'm on the air, so I don't have any idea where it is. I've got orders in to buy it, so I don't know if it's going to get hit or not. But we'll see what happens. Okay, let's see. Yeah, thank you very much. Let me know if it gets there. That would be the main thing if we get to that point. All right, let's go. We looked at the Nikkei, and we might as well go across the pond there and take a look at the Japanese stock. Let's take a look at the Hong Kong stock market, which is much, much smaller than the Japanese market, I believe. Anyway, as you can see, we hit the 61% retracement in the Hang Seng Index 4 days now, and we're down at that same level again at that 19,700 level. If we go below that means a lot. After hitting it 3 times like that, that would tell us that this cycle is really in trouble, and it would be very, very bearish. That's the bottom line of what I'm doing. When I was doing the newsletter over the weekend, I really had some trepidation because I got stuff that's short and that's working okay, but I'm just scared to death looking at it. And we'll see what's looking at it. Thanks, Dr. Earl. I see silver still at that 1638 level. I need silver to get down about another 20 cents. Would really be 25 cents would really be nice. I'd like to see one big washout at that area because that's the 61% retracement in that silver. So that's what we're watching. But anyway, when I was looking at all these charts over the weekend, I said, gee, there's so much support that hit there, and the fact that we had the full moon and Mercury, going direct, I said, boy, that's usually a sign of something, pretty strong. So I expected the market to be really strong coming out of here today, and we didn't get it in any of the countries, and also the U.S. futures. I mean, none of them really took off like I thought they should have, but they don't always do what I think they're going to do. So that means neither here nor there. So we'll keep an eye on that. As far as the currencies, I still believe that we are heading down towards that at least the 110 level in the euro. Right now we're trading at 111 and change, and I think that still has a chance, to go a great deal lower, as I do with the pound. I still think the pound is going to get somewhere around that 137 to 135 level in the British pound to see if it's going to hold that level. That's primarily, what I'm watching when I'm seeing some of these things. Now, we have a situation in the grain markets, folks. I'm going to start out with the wheat. I'm going to try to do this without the help of our good friend Rich Anderson, and we'll put this up here today, and we'll see if we can get this up here to show you the wheat, and you'll see, yes, it's the British vote is on June 23rd. That's when they're going to, to vote on the thing. And frankly, I think the odds makers are saying that it's 8-5 that they're going to stay in the Eurozone. But I don't know, and I don't really care because I don't understand. It's like trying to follow U.S. politics. It's just an exercise in utility. Let's take a look at the wheat here, and we will see what we're looking at here. You'll notice that we made that 135 pattern in the wheat. Then we had a very, very mild reaction. We rallied about 20 cents in the wheat, and we gave all of it back. And now we're back down at the 786 retracement of that low. And so if we get below that 460 level, 455, you're going to be looking at potential new lows, in the wheat. And that would mean that we're a little lower in corn and beans this morning. And so that would also tell us that we were heading down towards that. Remember last year at this time, we were preparing for the lows around Memorial Day when we had those beautiful Gartley patterns that formed in November beans before it rallied $1.50 a bushel. And I'm assuming that we might have that same type of scenario coming in because we do have some Astro stuff coming over the Memorial Day weekend into June 1st. And so those are the ones that I want to see because I'd like to see a bigger sell-off, in some of these things. Soybean oil, which is, 20% of the bean itself, has had a huge correction. So these are things that you want to keep an eye on for these grains because these are important support points. 877-927-6648.
Larry Pesavento has just started his brand new service, Fibonacci 24/7, and he's already delivering content to his subscribers on a daily basis when the market's opened and even on weekends. Each Monday, you'll receive Larry's written report that provides detailed commentary and a summary on the charts and videos that Larry sends out. And throughout the week, when warranted, Larry will send out via charts or videos or both the key markets that he is watching during the day. This will be up-to-the-date, active trading information that will help you in your daily trading. In Larry's first week alone, he sent out 25 charts, 6 videos, and a full report to his subscribers in just 1 week. If you're a technical trader that uses patterns and retracements to trade, then Larry's service Fibonacci 24/7 is something that you must try. Right now, new subscribers can get a full 30-day money-back guarantee. With nothing to risk, sign up now to Larry Pesavento's Fibonacci 24/7 by visiting the front page of TFNN.com under Trading Newsletters. In quiet markets, investors search for new trading opportunities. We'd like to introduce you to a new product that provides opportunities even in flat markets. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a new and innovative Chicago-based exchange registered with the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their trading platform. Nadex never charges a fee to use their platform, which even includes real-time charts and full customization capability. Nadex's unique short-term binary options allow traders and investors to capitalize on strategies even when the underlying markets are quiet. Nadex's innovation has allowed them to come up with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com, or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Platinum, grains, crude oil, gold, copper, cattle, hogs, gasoline, natural gas, coffee, cotton, cocoa, and sugar. These are just some of the commodities mentioned in the most recent issue of Andy Hecht's Techno-Mental Commodity Report. Andy publishes his weekly newsletter every Thursday morning, where he breaks down the commodity market and provides his subscribers with specific trading recommendations based on his trading methodology. By signing up for a free trial to the Techno-Mental Commodity Report, you'll get a full 30 days to try out this powerful newsletter service and see for yourself the types of trades Andy has recommended for his subscribers. When you sign up for a 30-day free trial, you're under no obligation to pay anything. And should you decide to continue, you will lock in the low rate of only $79 a month. Sign up right now for the Techno-Mental Commodity Report and make sure you're ready to catch the next big trade in commodities. For more information and to get started today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
$8 away in the gold at this 1242 level, so keep an eye on that. And we'll be watching the silver. I happen to know the price because I have Bloomberg on here in the room, so I'm able to see the price come across Bloomberg. That's the only reason I'm able to take a look at that. So we'll watch that with a little bit of anticipation anyway. As far as the grains, we're going to have Rich on in about a week because he's really busy traveling as I am, and so we'll have him on a little bit later. One of the questions that someone's asked me is, what would be, the profit objective in the short crude. Well, folks, we went from 26, to 48. We rallied $12 a barrel, just like we did last year into May, and that one took us into new low ground. I don't know if we're going to go to new low ground or not. I'm not interested in that. I'm interested to see what the first leg down is going to be, and right now we're about $1.50 from the highs, and I'm not sure that that's even going to be the high. But right now it started in the right direction. I would expect to see a 382 retracement, which would take us at least to the 45 level, which is $2.50 a barrel from where we are right now. That's primarily what I'm watching. So we'll see if that's going to hold up or not. But it's still a little early in the game to say that you're right, because just if it starts down a little bit, that doesn't mean very much, because this is all based on probability anyway, and so you have to be able to focus on what you wanted to want to accomplish. One of the things that I covered in the lecture that I gave during the weekend in Kiev was about the relationship between gambling and speculation, because everybody in the audience, when I asked the question, almost everyone thought that it was the exact same thing, is that you were gambling when you were dealing with the foreign exchange. And when I tried to show them that the gambling, it's you don't have a choice on anything, whereas with trading you certainly have a choice. A gambling event is predicated on the toss of the coin, the spin of the wheel, the blow of the whistle, the firing of a gun, and that basically starts the event, and you're locked into it until it's pretty much over. So, and fortunately for us, is that with trading you can move in and out and correct your mistakes as you go. And believe me, mistakes certainly do happen as you're doing these. But I really was I wanted to tell Tom personally about the fact that we had two people 8,000 miles from home that listen to the show regularly, and that was the two that came up to me. There might have been others, but they actually wanted to have my picture taken, and I couldn't get any prices on it, so I had to do it for free. Okay, let's go on to the next one. Let's look at the stock market. We've taken a look at the S&P starting out, or we started out with the Dow Jones, of course, and I want to do the S&P next, because it has the same type of pattern, but as luck would have it, I do have it right here. Let's just get it, and we will take a look at it. And you'll see here the bottom that we made here with beautiful ABCD pattern. And this has taken a whole month, folks. We've had only a 5% correction in a whole month, and that is really, really small. We had a really nice ABC ending up around this 20 area. I think the low was 2022. So far, we've rallied up to, I believe, 2060 area, or 2058. And then we backed off last night to around 2044. I think we're trading at 2050 or something right now. So we really, if this is really bullish, it's really got to get moving, because if it fails here, all you're seeing now are these lower highs and equal rallies, and that's a kiss of death from the bullish side, because it lulls you into complacency, thinking the market is going to be strong, and in fact it isn't. So watch this. Below the lows that we made just the other day at 17,000 in the Dow and 2020 in that S&P, that is not a good sign, because of the cycle implications of that full moon, and also the thing that we're looking at in the let me see, wheat or corn, and we'll see if what happens, and we'll go from that level. Okay, next thing we want to do here is to take a look at, someone asked me to take a look, I know what they asked me to do, and that was to look at the IBB. That's the biotech index, and I trade that about as often as I trade butter, anyone trading in butter. Okay, there we go. Here's what we're looking at here in the biotech index. As you can see, we do have three higher bottoms, one in February, one in March, and another one in May. Again, you can see that the biotech index has been stronger than the rest of the market. It was able to rally up more than the other markets, so it's held really strong support and started to move higher. That's similar to what we had going on in the NASDAQ, whereas the NASDAQ took minor leadership, and it's still showing that a little bit today. So those are the things that you want to sort of keep in mind if you do trade that IBB. But it's much weaker than the market. Remember, this was the leader on the way up. It topped in July with a big island reversal there, and then it's been down for almost a year now. The low was in February, but this thing has just been killing people that are hanging in for the long haul. So that's the base thing of what we're looking at. So we'll see what transpires with that a little bit later. I was asked to take a look at the NASDAQ, and I wanted to show the same thing that I just mentioned, the fact that the NASDAQ has actually started to show a little bit more strength than the rest of the market, because when we were making new lows down here on the 19th, we were not making a new low in the NASDAQ. It was just matching the low that we made back on May 6th. But the same thing happened overnight as we just rallied up to that downtrend line at that 43.80 level, and so it's still a little early, to see if that's going to be the case, and we'll see what happens with this as we move through the rest of the show here. And I'm trying to cover the things that the folks are looking at. Another one that looks interesting from a short seller's standpoint are the Treasury bonds, because we have a very nice Gartley pattern forming around the 165.12. We got up to the 165 level last night. We've sold off a little bit from that, but the Gartley pattern measures to that 165.12 level, and that should be some resistance, in the Treasury bonds. So that's the same thing. By the way, they have quantitative easing in the Ukraine, just like we have every place else. And it was surprising to me, because I knew very little about Kiev. I researched it before I got there. It has a wonderful history and some beautiful architecture and old cobblestone streets. But the bad part about the country, folks, is they never got the message that smoking causes cancer, because everybody smokes. They don't allow smoking in public places, which is good. Outside of the restaurants and the hotels and the train stations and stuff, everybody's smoking, and that I don't particularly care for that. 877-927-6648.
Today, it's hard to tell if the economy is coming or going. Regardless, I want my money going in the direction I choose. If that's your stance as well, then you want to know how Everbank can help keep your money thriving just the way you want. Is growing your money a priority? Everbank is committed to a yield pledge promise to pay high yields on your checking, money market, and CD balances. Looking to diversify? Everbank ingeniously developed accessible ways to spread your money around the world into foreign currencies and even non-FDIC insured metals. And when it comes to your wealth, they bring a highly experienced and global perspective to help you manage it. Everbank's financial philosophy flies in the face of the status quo. They believe your money's performance should not be determined by today's economic circumstances, but by the drive to rise above them and create opportunities that favor your objectives. If that excites you like it does me, visit everbank.com/TFNN to find out what they can do for you. Again, that's everbank.com/TFNN. Visit them today. Everbank is a member FDIC and equal housing lender.
It's 2016, and TFNN has a brand new programming lineup to kick things off. Starting January 4th, Swim Lessons by Thinkorswim and TD Ameritrade will be airing 5 days a week at noon Eastern Time. Join hosts Scott Connor, Kevin Hinks, and Cindy Faber as they host their daily options program live at noon 5 days a week with no commercials for the entire hour. Nico DeHaan and Paige Clark will be moving their program, Living a Primal Lifestyle, to twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays from 7 a.m. until 8 a.m. Eastern Time. Wake up with Nico and Paige and start your day off right. The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour by Nadex will now be live Mondays and Fridays at 10 a.m. Start and end the week with the three hosts, Tom O'Brien, Tommy O'Brien, and Daryl Martin, as they break down the world of trading binary options and spreads. For all the details on the new 2016 programming lineup, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. Biotech is booming, but for how long? Whether you think the biotech bull has room to run or has run its course, trade LABU or LABD. Directions Daily S&P Biotech 3 times bull and bear ETFs. Visit directioninvestments.com/biotech today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
The Bull Bear Binary Option Hour, sponsored by Nadex. Up next on TFNN.
Okay, folks, I've been asked to talk a little bit more about this gold that I was looking at the 1242 level. Basically, what that is, folks, that's the ABCD pattern from the 1262, down to 1248, and then we rallied up to a 61% retracement Sunday night at 1257. That ABCD swing measures to 1242, and of course we got to 1243.5. And the $64 question that they've asked me, is that the low? And the answer to that is maybe, because I don't know, and neither does anybody else. The good part is that we took out the lows of 3 days ago, back on the 19th, when we had that full moon. We took that out by just $1 and didn't go anywhere. So there was really not many stops there, and silver couldn't even budge below the 1638 level, 1630 level. So that was another strong sign that maybe this bottom, could possibly be in. But remember, there's a pretty big number there to look at 1242, and whether that 1243.5 is going to be the low, I don't know the answer to that. I tried to buy it at 1242. I didn't get filled, and I'm just waiting. So they might leave the train without me, that they do many times. My ticket doesn't get punched a lot, and sometimes it does, either good or bad, but we'll just have to wait and see what's happening. Stock market is very quiet, being down just marginally, which is rather surprising. And that's pretty much the bottom line of, what we see here, early in the morning. So we'll just have to wait and see if this is going to be a real significant Monday or not. But that's the amazing thing. One other thing that I have to mention, folks, that was rather startling to me was the fact that how insignificant the U.S. is to the rest of the world when you travel across Europe. It used to be when you traveled, the dollar was king. They took it everywhere. Now they don't take it anywhere. You have to convert the money into euros or kronas or whatever you have to do. And in Ukraine, it's 25 hryvnias to $1. So you give somebody $500, you're not looking at a lot of money, and so it's I think it's $20 or something like that. So you have to be careful, what you're looking at, because the prices here can get really crazy, like they do here in Copenhagen. Coca-Cola in Copenhagen is $4.50. That's to give you a pretty good idea of what you're looking at. A Big Mac is 12 bananas, baby, 12 big ones for a Big Mac meal. So anyway, I don't eat there, but I saw the advertisement for it. Okay, let's get on to the next one that we want to have asked, and that was about the German DAX index. And I'm going to put up the daily chart on that, because you'll see that we have hit this the same thing like we have in the Hang Seng, same thing that we've seen in all these other indices, that they've held these really key levels. A 38% level from the February low in the DAX, and a 78% retracement from the low in April, and that's at that 9,700 level in the DAX. So there is a great deal of things like that are, basically holding up. Okay, let's go on. Someone else had a question. Oh, they had a question about astrology by email. Someone asked me, about the next eclipse, and frankly, I don't have that information with me now. I'd have to pull it off my computer, and I'm not able to do that at the present time. But, I believe our next eclipse has got to be in the summer, if I'm not mistaken. We're past the eclipse season. The one thing that I did want to show you, and I'm glad that someone brought this up, and that is this aspect of Mercury. Folks, just to show you how insignificant we really are, I'm going to show you the planet Mercury as it transits across the sun. This happened on May the 9th. This was a big thing at NASA, and you'll notice that big dot. That was big dot. What am I talking about? That little dot. That is Mercury going across the sun. That only happens once every 10 years, the way that it's doing it. So it was a big thing to see it, but you can just get an idea of the immensity of the sun and our universe when you see the planet Mercury there, looking at just a very, very small dot. And that's very, very exciting stuff from my point of view, because I like to see what's going to happen. We have a question here from Mr. Peak. Peak D says, when is this market going to crash? And I'm going to tell you, but you're going to have to not tell anybody else, Peak D. It's going to crash on October the 8th at 9:30 in the morning, right after the opening. That'll be it. So mark that on your calendars. And if you believe that, Mr. Peak D, please save a few bucks for 2 shares of the Brooklyn Bridge, because I have 2 more shares to sell, and I'd like to sell them to you. Nobody knows when it's going to crash, folks. It doesn't make any difference. It really doesn't. It's the main thing to see what's going to happen here. That's it. You don't have to worry about crash. Just trade the swings. You got plenty of stuff. Well, I don't think the election doesn't really make any difference. Hey, folks, if it didn't make any difference with Obama, we've only got, $4 trillion of extra debt now? I mean, why is it going to make any difference with somebody else? I frankly think we need somebody that's not a politician. That's just my 2 cents worth. I'm going to stand on my soapbox and give a little lecture about that. That is now over, but I don't think we need another politician, especially one from Arkansas. And that's the name of that tune. So let's remember that as we go through here and look at these things. Okay. What other question someone else had? Oh, I know what it was. Hold on. It was about the dollar index that we talked about. And I wanted to bring this chart. This is our chart from our good friend Jim Bartolioni, who will be moving pretty soon. Anyway, we'll put this up here. You'll notice that this is the dollar index going back several decades. And as you can see, the low that was made, the start of the big wave up, of course, that was our good friend Tom O'Brien. Was this is when he was talking about King Dollar, and we just made a 38% retracement 2.5 weeks ago, and we've been rallying strongly since then. And that is very suggestive that we are going to go higher in the U.S. dollar and not lower. But anything below 9,400 in the U.S. dollar index, and that would be equivalent to 117 in the euro, going to the upside, that would tell us that this is pretty much, out of the question. I still believe that we have a chance to see par in the euro, maybe due to this Brexit or whatever it's going to be along here, because there's several large ABCD patterns that measure to par in the euro on the long-term chart. That we've seen these many times, so there's no reason to see how this stuff is going on, but we'll wait and see. That's the main thing. I know the feeling about that, Tammy, about the tuition for the kids. It's just, and believe me, my kids went to school 30 years ago, so that it was cheaper then, and but it was still expensive at that time. So it was pretty amazing to see what's happened on. What to do in the gold? Paul, I wish I knew. I'm waiting to see if it gets to 1242. If I don't get it at 1242, I don't go. If you buy it here, You got to put your stop below 1242. That's the bottom line. But again, first of all, I'm only hitting on about 3 cylinders because I haven't had any sleep for a long time. 877-927-6648.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, host of the Trader's Edge, heard daily at TFNN.com and author of Mastering Probability, a daily investment and trading newsletter service that I send out each morning by 8 a.m. My morning newsletter service covers exactly what the markets have been doing since last night's close, providing you with an edge on your trading day ahead. You get actionable trading ideas, including the exact entry, stop, and profit targets. Plus, I'll teach you the patterns and hidden market correlations that will make you a better trader. As a subscriber, you'll gain access to my 90-minute money management workshop, where I'll teach you the secrets that'll save your assets. The bottom line, I've got your back, including a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the type of analysis I provide each trading day by signing up for Mastering Probability today. With nothing to lose, this is an offer you should not pass on. Mastering Probability can be found under Trading Newsletters on the front page of TFNN.com.
Tom O'Brien's weekly gold letter, The Gold Report, gives complete and concise coverage of the entire gold market. Inside, you'll get Tom's commentary on gold, the dollar, the rand, the bond, the XAU, the HUI, and detailed coverage of nearly 25 mining stocks. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock trade. The Gold Report is a long-term newsletter where the focus is on building real wealth through the management of a successful portfolio of gold stocks. With a lifetime of knowledge and almost 12 years of writing his informative weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, Tom O'Brien can provide you with the important market information to help you make better trades in the gold market. Don't let the next bull run in gold pass you by. To get a month-long free trial to The Gold Report, an $85 value, visit the front page of TFNN.com today.
Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Okay, we're back, folks, and I want to finish up here the show from Copenhagen, Denmark. I'll be here for a couple of days and then off to London, and then I'll be back sometime, hopefully in the future, back to the United States of America, which I dearly love. I don't care. You can say what you want about it, folks, but it's not a bad place to live, and we got freedoms that we shouldn't take advantage of, and that's the end of that story. Let's take a look at the stock market here overall of what's really happened here. Looking at the New York Stock Exchange Index, this is the one that if you're bearish, this has to trouble you. And this is the New York Stock Exchange Index. As you can see, we just completed an ABCD pattern there on Thursday. It was at 78% retracement of the low that we made back in April, and it was not even a 382 retracement. So this market went down and couldn't even make a 382 retracement off of that cycle low. And that's a really important cycle low because of the full moon and Mercury going back to direct motion. So that's relatively important, because if this is only a 2-day rally, that we got out of this. This is not a good sign. So just keep that in mind. It's a shorter term cycle, of course, but that's what we're watching on this level, and that's what I think is very, very important to see what's going on. What's going on with this. So we'll keep an eye on this to see, because I was expecting a lot more strength today. That really, everything surprises me, but the fact that we didn't go screaming, I thought we'd be up about 150 points in the Dow already, and that didn't happen across any of the markets globally. So that tuned that down, which was good to see, because I still think we've got a lot lower to go longer term. I believe we're heading down, for quite a bit, and we'll see what's going on. Mike asked me if I'm buying silver here. Oh, he's asking Mr. Z. Mr. Z, he always buys silver, so that's good. I think silver's probably a buy here. I thought it would get down to 16, 15. Of course, I'm always, off by a few 20 or 30 cents. I think that's it. 877-927-6648. We'll see you tomorrow, and may God bless.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.